You already know this is Pun Drunk Boxing, aka Mr. Moonshine himself. Ladies and gentlemen, the stuff that we hear from Deontay Wilder, stuff that we see, we hear, we heard it before. Yep, we heard it before. And probably even worse. Probably even worse. The big bad wolf, the baddest man of the planet, the freakish power phenom, the immortality of his power, knocking everybody out. We've seen fighters like that. Some of the fighters, they could take a loss. They could humbly take a loss. Others, they can't take that loss. Depression sets in. Can't believe it. The embarrassment. They destroyed it mentally, emotionally. Mentally disturbed. Delusion sets in. Mind fuckery. Accountability, lack of accountability. We just want to blame everybody else. Because they just couldn't believe. They didn't picture. It didn't go through their psyche. When they was preparing for this fight. And there's some fighters that when the night before the fight, they stay up just thinking about the fight, how it may go. They try to picture it. They try to dream about it. Daydream about it. And guys like Deontay Wilder, he probably could have said to himself, you know what? I know I could get outboxed by Tyson Fury. But there's no way this guy can knock me out. I can't even picture it. Maybe that's why he probably landed in that type of mentality. But we've seen worse. George Forman. George Forman, when he lost to Muhammad Ali, he couldn't take that loss. Practically sounded just like Deontay Wilder. Probably even worse. We heard about the water being spiked. He thought the water being spiked. He said the ropes was loose. The ropes was loose. He also blamed it on his corner, Dick Sandler, because they planned on and they went by, when he speaks to the corners and things of that nature, they said once to each other, and I'm just paraphrasing because George Forman said this a long time ago. He said that if he ever goes down, him and his corner communicated with him, whenever you go down, do the best thing you could do to look at the corner, and we're going to count for you. He blamed it on the corner, saying that they miscounted. And we already know that the story about that and the strategy of Muhammad Ali, that he was trying to tire him out. The rope-a-dope, using the rope-a-dope strategy. George Foreman didn't think he was being tired. He thought around that time when he lost that his corner miscounted. He blamed it on everybody else except himself. He couldn't believe it. He even said, man, he fell into the depression stage. He couldn't even see himself. His friends around him couldn't help him get through it. He was devastated. And delusion set in, just like Deontay Wilder. Now, there's a lot of people that make fun of Deontay Wilder. I think we all did, because of course there's a lot of excuses and it's like, come on, man, we see them as warriors. Why are you talking like this? Why are you talking like this? It's just making you look weak. Around that time, George Forman was like at the laughing stock. Even when he tried to come back and then he lost to Jimmy Young and he retired for 10 years. Went to seek Jesus. Ain't nothing bad seeking Jesus. But a lot of people thought he was cuckoo. His own family thought he was going cuckoo. He explained also, George Forman, in the George Forman documentary, he explained that even his mother thought that he was going cuckoo. Because you just can't, there's some fighters that just can't take that loss. And those particular fighters, those power punches that's just knocking everybody out. Knockout art, they're knocking everybody out, that they feel like they're invincible. Their power gives them that invincibility, and then they lose and they can't believe it. They can't believe that they get back what they put out. The destroyer getting destroyed. They can't take that. And sometimes we look at these fighters like if they some pit bulls and chickens and stuff like that. They ain't got no feelings. A lot of fans don't give a damn about the feelings of a fighter because we see them as, and I'm speaking in general, we see them as pit bulls and chickens, robots. They shouldn't have no feelings. We're more barbaric. The fans are more barbaric than what really goes down in that ring. We're just as delusional as the excuses that these guys was given. That's why I always say in my channel, these are my modern day warriors, modern day gladiators that put their life on the line for pure entertainment. Man, when you lose in boxing, they say boxing is a lonely life. When you win, everybody around you. When you lose, nobody's around you. And even when you win, when you take some punishment, it's only you that feel it. Now, we could all make contents. We could all post and write tweets and comment and say all the derogatory shit you could think of about these fighters. These fighters are human. These fighters live with expectations, something that the norm can't even handle. Losing in front of millions and millions, it's not easy. It's not easy. If you lose your job, you feel embarrassed. Ain't nobody know, but you feel embarrassed. You feel embarrassed just going back home and have to face your wife and kids. When you lose in front of everybody, you get destroyed by another man in front of everybody. When everybody look at you like a superhero and untouchable, and never enter your psyche. It never enter your psyche that I could be destroyed. Because like I said earlier, I believe that these guys could think that they could get outboxed. I believe so. Deontay Wilder feel like I could get outboxed. This guy could outbox me, but there's no way in my psyche I think that a Tyson Fury could actually destroy me. Just like George Forman. I know he could float like a butterfly, sting like a bee, but there's no way that this man is going to knock me out. It never enter the psyche. It never enter their psyche when they're getting prepared for this fight. When they're thinking about the fight, the night before the fight, and they stay up and they try to go how this thing is gonna go, and they try to daydream and dream how this fight is gonna go. They never saw that this person will destroy them and knock them out. They couldn't see that. So this is not even. It's not. People make fun of it. People can't understand it. People can't understand what's going on in Deontay Wilder's mind, but I believe that George Foreman is the right person to help him out. Not in training, like everybody was saying earlier. Oh, get George Foreman, he can help you out in training. No. He needs George Foreman more than ever. Because the only person right now that can understand what Deontay Wilder's going through is George Foreman. Physically, mentally, and emotionally. Both of them believe in Jesus Christ. Both of them, are in the same religion. They get it. I believe that Deontay Wilder needs to speak to George Foreman, and he alluded in a recent interview. He said that he speaks to George Foreman a lot, but the excuses keep on coming. But it's all right. Take your time. I'm gonna let him take his time. I believe that we should let him take his time. This ain't easy. It's almost like when you're dealing with drug addicts, and at a point you can make fun of them, but then at a point they're just sick. They're just sick. You feel me? And being sick is not like to degrade a person, because I believe in reality we all have some type of mental. We all have some type of roller coaster, emotional roller coaster. We all got our thing. The only thing is that we're not in the spotlight. We're not gaining and losing in front of everybody else. You could be a professional fighter because you're a prize fighter and you get paid for fighting, but that doesn't mean you're a professional in living life and handling things that you never was educated in handling. Or gotta take your loss like a man. How about you never took a loss? He never took a loss as a professional, just like George Forman never took a loss like a professional. Who are we? Who are we to judge them like this? Now, I don't want to sound like I'm contradicting myself, because of course I do. You know, I do have a boxing channel, and I talk about boxing content. We have for fun and games, but at the end of the day, I want all of these fighters to understand, just me in general, me personally, that I consider each and every fighter as my modern day warriors, modern day gladiators. Y'all put your life on the line for pure entertainment, and of course we hold y'all accountable for the words that when y'all don't sound right. But I want to give the fighters the benefit of the doubt. They're the one that get punched in the head. They're the one that take that punishment. They're the one that entertain us. The fighters should always get the benefit of the doubt of us, from us. Like I said, we've seen this before. And we saw that, you know what? Grass is green on the other side. George Forman came back better than ever. In and out the ring. In and out the ring. And I believe that Deontay Wilder, when he gets over what he needs to get over, he'll be back as the Bronze Bomber. It's going to take some time. I hope he does it quicker than what George Foreman, because George Foreman retired for 10 years. But you know what? Those 10 years was probably the greatest years for himself to move on into the next stage of his life. So, what I would say, I'm going to pray for Deontay Wilder. Pray for all these fighters, man. Pray for all these fighters. You know, we're giving them too much. We give them a hard time. You know? So, let me know what y'all think. Let's chop it up. I'll probably go live later on today. We could chop it up and, you know, let's talk about it. And let me know who y'all think had it worse. Who had it worse? George Foreman or Deontay Wilder? Again, subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell. Get my updated videos. God first, everything second. Fight plus survive equals choose champions. Y'all already know that's the slogan. Check out my podcast, the Smelling Salt Podcast. Check it out. And y'all already know, man. Love y'all. God bless, and on to the next.